Галахер.
Добрий день. Thank you very much for coming along this morning. I'd also like to thank Olga and all of the team at PROSTONEBA for giving this opportunity to talk to you. I won't speak in too much depth about British design, just in 30 minutes give you a brief taste of contemporary British landscape design and things that have been happening. I'll start very quickly by telling you a little bit about myself. I graduated from Manchester Metropolitan University in 1994 with a master's degree in landscape architecture, and very soon after I started my own practice, SKG Landscape Design in Belfast. It was Northern Ireland's first specialised garden design, professional garden design consultancy. And then in 2003 we opened the first contemporary garden store in Northern Ireland. It was called Landscape Stuff for the Garden. Also in 2003 we won the ALCI Small Garden of the Year Award for this contemporary courtyard in Belfast. And the following year we won the Large Garden of the Year for this family garden in Northern Ireland. In 2005 we launched our own collection of contemporary planters, the Luxury Planter Collection, 4 styles, 3 sizes, 16 colours. And in 2006, in the wake of international smoking regulations, we launched the Replensis range of innovative outdoor products. And the original ashtray planters that you see here were shortlisted as the best innovation at the 2007 International Horecava Awards in Amsterdam. Our Replensis ashtray planters have been deployed at the entrances to hotels from all the major hospitality brands and at some of the top of the world's top hotels here at 45 Park Lane in London. Over the past decade, the range has been continually developed and expanded, with new innovations continually added. Recent innovations include the Replensis Charge Board, an outdoor smartphone charger, and the Replensis Order Post, an outdoor order and payment system for bars and restaurants. This year we launched the Contemporary Planter Collection, which is a diffusion range of the LPC, and it's actually made here in Kiev. It's smaller than the original range and made to different specifications. It's aimed at the private home market. Our products are regularly featured in the International Design Press and on TV shows. This is a small selection of our clients. And to date we have worked on over 500 private garden designs, as well as numerous commercial projects, such as the redesign of the grounds of Belfast City Hall. I was brought back to my old company to work on this project as a freelancer. The project period was brought from 2 years to 3 months when Bill Clinton made an announcement that he was coming to Belfast. So it was a very interesting project to work on, to try and create such a large scheme and design and have it built in 3 months. The landscaping of Belfast's top hotel, the Merchant Hotel, and the rooftop bar and terrace for a boutique hotel in Manhattan. In spring 2017, we started to work in Lviv, where we are currently engaged in a number of interesting projects, and hope to be working on some more there in the very near future. So I'll start off with my main talk here with a brief evolution of contemporary British landscape design. Would anybody like to guess the first recognised example of British landscape design? No? No. Stonehenge, 5,000 years ago. And this is generally recognised by British landscape historians as the first attempt, and it still stands up quite well now, literally and design-wise. Throughout the centuries, British gardens came under the influence of design ideas from Italy, France and Holland, but Britain has always had their own designers. At the start of the 20th century, we started to see gardens which were the forerunners of what we would now think of as contemporary. And some British garden designers were attracted to the international modern style, as we see here, but their clients in the main retained the loyalty to more traditional ideas. Landscape architects and their clients were much more attracted to abstract design principles. It was the 1990s that really saw British landscape design reach new levels of popularity, with garden design TV shows occupying prime slots on Sunday evenings and making celebrities of designers such as Alan Titchmarsh and Dermot Gavin. Really, when I was growing up in the UK in the 1970s and 1980s, nobody really was interested in their garden. It was there, it was grass, it was hedges. There was no interest. Suddenly in the 1990s, everybody was interested. It suddenly became very popular, and it was lucky for me that I was just starting out on my journey at the same time. It was perfect timing for me. So, what is the ethos of contemporary British landscape design? What are the things that we associate with British landscape design? Clean lines, simplicity. We like to make features of necessities. For example, steps. If you need to have steps in the garden, make them beautiful steps, make them a feature in themselves like you see here. Similarly with storage, in small gardens, you need to have somewhere to put bikes, garden equipment. Let's make it beautiful, as we see here with this hardwood storage unit. Much of the design now is for recreation and entertainment. It's not just for aesthetics. People want to have something that they can go out and enjoy. And because in the UK it gets dark at 7 o'clock in the evening, most of our gardens need to look as good at night as they do during the day, if not better. So, design for nighttime use is extremely important. Similarly, the British climate dictates that gardens are designed to be viewed from the inside looking out. So, when I go to clients and they say to me, why should I spend this money getting my garden done? We only use it 2 or 3 times a year. Here's a good example. When you're sitting in your dining room, in your kitchen, you want to have something beautiful to look out at. And I think people now are realising that it is very much part of the home, as much as the rooms inside. British landscape designers are bringing indoor elements outside, furniture, materials, and even more recently, wallpaper. Obviously not real wallpaper, but wallpaper designs added to walls to painted on or printed on materials. There's very much a trend for taking styles from inside the home and bringing them into the garden. Colour for all your interest, through walls, through planters, and through furniture. Planting design has also changed very much in the last 20 years. Flowers are now replaced by textures. Tropical plants such as phormiums and tree ferns, and with grasses. And with topiary. Quite often we'll mix flowers in with the topiary, because obviously the topiary is giving you that perfect look 12 months of the year, so we can have little bits of flower colour, alliums and things coming through the topiary. Traditional materials are history, or at least the way traditional materials are used. If you can see this photo clearly here, you can compare compare and contrast, 25 years ago, this is what we thought of as traditional concrete paving. And on the right, this is concrete paving as we know it today. Similarly with these traditional modern trellis panels, you'll still occasionally get gardens designed with using the panels like on the left, but it's very much the contemporary style now to go with these handmade panels like on the right with integrated lighting. If one word could be used to sum up the ethos of contemporary British landscape design, that word would be quality. Clients now put more importance on their garden than they did a generation ago. They're spending more money and their expectations are higher. Water features. Every garden these days seems to have a water feature. It seems to be the integral part and the main focus of the garden. You'll see with this one, I hope you can see the photo clearly enough. It takes in a lot of the things that I've talked about already. There's a feature of the steps, there's the water features, there's the lighting. It's a very small garden, very small space, but the space has been used very cleverly to integrate a considerable amount of interest in this small space. Lighting again is extremely important for the reason that we mentioned. More people are using their gardens at night than they are at day, so lighting is essential. You'll also notice from these examples of the lighting, 3 or 4 different examples here. You see the light that is being given off, but the source of the light, the actual light fitting, tends not to be seen very often in contemporary design. We tend to just focus on surfaces, on plants, on features, and light those with hidden light sources. Again, you can see what I'm talking about with the lighting, but we're focusing more here on the smooth surfaces. Smooth surfaces are very, very much part of the contemporary design palette. You see here with the stone, the hardwood screens, everything is very smooth, it's very slick. Gabion walls have been very popular now for a long time. I understand that they're gaining popularity here in Ukraine too. I see them in more use in more projects, but very, very much a design tool of the British landscape designer. Again, screens, very common because we all live in small gardens now. Gardens are getting smaller, and for privacy, the screens are being used in the place of hedges because they take less time to maintain. They also take up less idle space in the garden. Plants are still important. You know, a lot of people think that the planting is becoming less and less important, but you know, it's not a garden without the plants. And you see here, very modern garden, but the plants are the star here, no matter what else is there. Planters again, for low maintenance, very, very popular in modern gardens. Vertical planting, again I'm seeing a lot of this in Ukraine. Obviously you have some good practitioners of it, and very popular in the UK, and it's nice to see that it's being used here in Ukraine. Modern furniture really is essential to every project, and as a designer I used to become very frustrated when my clients would say, "Oh, we've seen some furniture, don't worry, leave it with us," because the furniture can make or break any project, and if the furniture's not right, the project's not right. And furniture is becoming more and more modern, and there's some good examples on display here today. It's worth noting that some of the best furniture being used in British designs, it's not coming from the UK, it's coming from Spain, from Belgium, from Italy, where their designers are a little bit more adventurous. Their furniture designers, they're still a little bit more reserved in the UK. Outdoor kitchens are becoming increasingly more popular as they become better developed and more available. And also, more and more people in the UK are starting to work from home. And rather than lose a room in their house to their home office and have their home life and office life spill over. Home offices are becoming very much a part of the British garden, and like with everything else, they're being built in these modern styles. So, what are the on-trend products that are being used in design to create these key elements? Concrete, polished steel, Port-10 steel, natural stone, hardwood decking. Hardwood decking is a fine example of what I talked about earlier on, about the key word for British design now is quality, and the fact that clients are investing more, they're expecting more. Hardwood decking is now more widely used than the pine decking. It's 3 or 4 times the price. It is a big investment for a client to make, but the end result is so much better. The life expectancy is so much better, and the maintenance is so much easier. LED lighting, it's not new, but it's still widely used and it's still popularised in contemporary design. Aluminium is another new product which is gaining more and more popularity because of its durability, its cost, and as much as anything else, its lack of maintenance. When I said that in general interested in going out and spending all their weekend looking after it, and that's why products like aluminium are becoming more popular. You put it in, it stays the same for 20 years. Glass, again, very popular, an indoor product that has been taken outside and is now widely in use in landscape projects. Corian, it's solid surface material created by DuPont. It was primarily designed as a countertop for kitchens in private and commercial uses, but it has many other applications, particularly in landscaping. It's great, it can be laser cut and you can create these bespoke lighting features. It's a great product for use. Just very quickly, I want to have a look at 2 of my favourite exponents of contemporary British landscape design. 2 of the guys who I think do it best, and I've been very lucky to meet and on one occasion work with. Firstly, Philip Nash is a designer based in West London, and most of his gardens are in London and South East England. He does work abroad, New York, Spain. He has been creating contemporary gardens since 1990. I'm sure anybody who's familiar with anything to do with British landscape design, or indeed international landscape design, you're very familiar with the importance of the Chelsea Flower Show as an international show, but also for designers to showcase their work and really to show the world what they can do. I first noticed Philip in 2004 at the Chelsea Flower Show when he created this garden, steel and glass. It's still, for me, one of my favourite gardens. I love the fact that he has used so many different materials, but he hasn't overcrowded it. Also, I really love the planting, the exotic planting, the fact that he has used such a variety of planting in a small space. And then in 2008, Philip was back at the Chelsea Flower Show with another garden, this time called Elevations. And Corian, that we mentioned just a few moments ago, was used widely in this garden for pathways, for furniture. You see here this spiral pathway that connects. Really what he did was he created a jungle with this wild planting, and then these beautiful pathways that link the spaces within the garden. pretty much sums up everything about a contemporary British garden these days. And the second guy we're going to look with, he's probably known as the UK's most innovative landscape gardener. Certainly he's the most famous, very famous on TV, even going on to feature in Dancing with the Stars and other mainstream TV shows. He first came to prominence in the BBC TV show Homefront in the Garden, where he created a series of garden rooms. Like this home office, I'd just love to work somewhere like that. He is also famous for his show gardens at the Chelsea Flower Show, including his silver medal winning garden in 2004. He was already very well known, but he became extremely well known after this garden. Firstly, because he had a lot of problems during the development and it went over budget, and he put a lot of his own money into the project. But I think eventually it was worth it because of the acclaim that he got from this garden. Like many of his gardens, the showpiece is a spectacular sculpture, this time based on a Fabergé egg and made up of enamel balls. The egg is operated by remote control, and the side opens slowly to reveal a garden room contained within. This is the view from the egg out into the garden. It wasn't the first time he'd included a sculptural egg with a hidden surprise. Anybody like to guess what's inside this? It's a drinks fridge. Today, maturity has calmed him down a little, and Dermot spends less time on the TV and more time designing, including this roof terrace in London. This peaceful garden on the west coast of Ireland with its ocean views, protected by sinking the terrace underground. And this communal garden at an apartment block in my hometown of Belfast. Finally, I'd just like to give some of my initial thoughts on Ukrainian landscape design. Based on my experiences of living here over the last few years, and more recently actually working here. And I was very interested in Maxim's talk before me, if you saw it. He's a local landscape architect, and he really validated some of my thoughts about Ukrainian landscape design and how it's progressing, and the problems that have perhaps stopped it progressing more quickly in the past. As a foreign designer, I first visited Ukraine in 2012, and I first came to live here in 2014. My personal view is that Ukrainian architecture and interior design are broadly in step with the rest of Europe. In Lviv, where I've been living, there are many excellent examples of contemporary design, particularly in the sphere of hospitality. But with landscape design, I feel it's a little bit behind, and again, as I say, as Maxim said, there's perhaps a reason for that, materials that designers want to use aren't widely available, that the industry isn't recognised by clients, that clients don't put the same importance on landscape design as they do in interior design and architectural design, and maybe as they do in other parts of Europe. But the signs are here that this is starting to move much more quickly. Ukraine is starting to catch up, and new designers coming through, new energy, events like today. I have no doubt that Ukrainian landscape design is really starting to move very quickly, and it's starting to catch up, and it will catch up with the rest of Europe. 2 or 3 years, I think we're starting to see big changes we already have. And personally, I'm extremely excited to be here and to be able to work in this industry and to witness firsthand the evolution of Ukrainian landscape design. And again, thank you very much for having me here today to talk to you. I'm sure that many people amongst us here are going to be part of this new industry, this new evolution, and the growth of landscape design in the Ukraine. Дякую, спасибо.
Дякуємо, Кайл, за цікаву та змістовну доповідь. Якщо будуть запитання до Кайла, будь ласка, в індивідуальному порядку підходьте до нього. І я думаю, ваш діалог буде